Today, I'm going to talk about the part that's really going to be cool and expand your storytelling and your soloing. This one here is playing along with the chords. It sounds kind of almost silly to even say that, but we need to pay attention to what's going on in the background when we're jamming and we're soloing, rather than just sort of going off and just playing. I think all too often, and I'm guilty of this too, is we just want to just play. Oh, it's an A? Okay, I'm just going to play it an A. Boom, go. But if we can kind of take just a few minutes or a second or 10 seconds or whatever to figure out what's going on in the background, you can play along with the chords that are there. If it's the blues in A, which is what we've been kind of doing the last few weeks, listen to where the chords are changing, okay? And wherever the chord changes, we can land on a note. Now for this exercise, the note that is of the chord. In other words, if we're on the D chord in the blues, let's land on the D. And then we go back to the A, we'll go land on the A, which is the tonic. And then wherever that E is, we'll land on the E. So it's the first, the fourth, and the fifth, right, of the scale. So in the blues, we're paying attention to where the chords are at. Now, certainly when you're out there just vamping, you're not going to stay as rigid like this. But if you're not used to this, or if you need an exercise to sort of force yourself to think of how can I tell the story based on what I'm hearing in the background, this is a great little exercise to do it. Then, later on, you can just branch off and play it however you feel, but you'll have a better idea now of how to structure your solo when you're playing it, okay? Okay, so we're going to use my awesome backing track. It's not awesome, but it's good enough to get through what we're talking about here. So it's a simple, like I said, blues in A. We're going to play the blues A minor pentatonic scale. I could venture out and play the A major, and maybe I will at the end of this video, we'll see. But what we're going to do is we're going to focus on where the D and the A are at as we're soloing. First of all, we need to understand the structure of the song, and I talked about this a couple weeks ago in the videos. If you catch the link above, it'll take you to my structuring up and playing to the 12-bar blues, so you can get an idea of what I'm talking about here. So we need to understand where the Ds and where the Es are at. So that in the 12-bar blues, in this 12-bar blues format, but when we get to the 5th bar, that's when we go to the D, and then eventually we're going to stay there for 2, and we go back to the A, play there for 2 bars, and then we're going to hit the E once, and then the D once, and then back to the A, and then do some kind of turnaround. So what I'm going to do, and I'm going to just keep this very simple, very basic. Some of you might even be counterintuitive, like you want to do more. Just as an exercise, you just, wherever that D chain is, you play the D. Now, this is the blues, right? So you can apply this to any jam. Pick a 4-chord jam. Pick something, a metal thing, and try and listen to where those chords are. And just for the exercise, know when that chord changes, so you're going to go and you're going to play that note. It doesn't mean you're going to end up playing that note when you get to that chord, but it's a great exercise to try and get your brain to think about where things are at and get familiar with it so that you can learn how to tell your story. All right, so here is the 12-bar blues track, my fantastic one right here. There we go. Here's A. Bend to the E. Down to the D. Very simplistic way of playing it, but I'm focusing on where that D is, where that E is in this specific blues pattern. Again, take whatever backing track, take if it is not blues, it's funk, it's groove, whatever it is, you want to be able to find out, learn the rhythm track. I guess that's really what I'm getting at. This is a long way of saying the same thing. Just learn what the rhythm, what's playing in the background. Learn how that rhythm is playing, especially where you're going to play the solo. But if it's some kind of jam, you want to be sure to know what's going on in the background. Are there little changes happening in here? So lots of the great soloists, especially the jazz, if you listen to them, I'm not going to get into all the jazz stuff, but I mean, they're structuring it as these chords go by. They're playing along with the chords and these solos. It's really fantastic. One day I'm going to be able to do that. This is learning the power of story, as I said. So we're learning where the chords fit, where is everything landing, and then we just go ahead and venture off and play our song. And then structure the solo in your phrasing. Each line should be something, should tell a story, and end as if you're going to continue that story on the next line. Use every 2 bars, every 1 bar, every 3 bars, 4 bars, depending on how the song is structured. That's kind of where you want to sort of end, and also listen to where the chords end too. So this is a great little way to learn how to tell your story through soloing, all right? So hope it works for you. Good luck, man. Rock on.